Welcome, dreamer. The last Q&A was pretty awesome, and a lot of you guys asked a lot of great questions. These questions are from that YouTube video, and so I'm going to try to cover as many as I can to say whatever I can in this one. So, thanks for joining me. What questions do you have for me, I asked, and TBD JKC says, if consciousness is the universe experiencing itself, and ASMR is the body reacting to the universe's whisper, do you think tingles are the closest thing we have to the universe acknowledging our existence back? Alright, we are not starting with the easy ones this time. So here's what I wrote in my response. Did I write in a response? Alright. You can read my response there, but here's my candid response to this. Alright. In short, no. The long answer is yes. Sort of. In other words, the tingles are a natural reaction, a natural response to something that sort of triggers a memory in us. Now, we don't fully understand, but yeah, think about that for a little bit. Are you acknowledging your own existence? That's really what it is. Now, here's one. If a person could hear atoms vibrating, do you think they'd experience ASMR constantly or become cosmic equivalent to background noise? I don't think that there would be enough room for the intricate little delicate touch with all the vibrating going on. But then again, you wouldn't have the sound, because sound only exists if you have the ears or the receptors to receive the sound. And if it were making a sound, and it probably isn't, because there has to be air in there as well. But in between the atoms isn't air, it's nothing. Oh boy. If your ASMR microphone could record dreams instead of sounds, what kind of whispers do you think dreams make when no one's listening? We're always listening. Your dreams are you. You are your dreams, your mind, and I sort of play with this concept a little bit in my dream hypnosis stuff, but your dream mind and your waking self mind, they're different, but they're also, of course, the same. So, your mind is always listening. And if the microphone could record it, boy, that would be something for the science bugs. Do you think tingles are a glitch in the simulation, like the universe's way of saying you weren't supposed to notice that? These are very in-depth, very thought-provoking questions. I don't think it's a glitch in the simulation. I don't think it's a simulation anymore than, unless you believe it is, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think it's that simple. But I think thinking about it is the more important part. So, thanks for thinking about such things. Next one is, if perception is the interference between reality and the mind, and ASMR alters perception through sound, do you think what you're really doing is reprogramming consciousness one whisper at a time? It's an interesting way of thinking about it. I'm not sure. If thoughts produce energy and sound carries vibration, could ASMR be the only art form where intention can physically alter someone's state of being without realizing them? I'm also not sure about that one either, but I also don't think that sound carries the vibration exactly. Do you think ASMR has become the modern meditation way of overstimulated people to feel stillness again without ever sitting in silence? Could be. Who knows? Here's one. Z Souza has been a member of YouTube for a while, and they always have really great comments. I have so many questions, but I'll try to whittle them down to a few. What are some of your best memories growing up? Show us some photos. Man, I didn't prepare for photos. Some of my best memories growing up are, I don't know, I've been alive for a long time. At least it seems to me. I've been alive for 41 years. My best memories growing up, I'll talk about this house that I'm living in right now. The house that I'm living in has been in my family for a long time. Long time. My grandfather was very old when he had kids. My father was born when his father, my grandfather, was 49 years old. And my father had me when he was like, I don't know, in his 30s. So very close to people in my family, like immediate relatives, were alive a long time ago. And so sort of the experiences, sort of the firsthand experiences I have from my immediate family is stories about like the Great Depression, or at least having sort of talking about what it was like to live in that time. I guess what I'm trying to say is some of my best memories growing up are learning the memories of my grandparents, my parents, my other family members who grew up in a time long ago. I don't think I appreciated it as much as I did when I'm older. You know, growing up on a ranch did the same thing too. This house I grew up in, but also a ranch way out in the country, was an old, like, relic of the past, but also a family property. Had a wood stove for a heater. Yeah, I lived that life. Here in this house, I had a TV that I remember sitting on the floor and changing the channels, trying to figure out how to use the remote control. The remote control had a cord attached to it that connected to the TV, and it had a few switches on it, maybe like 5. One for each channel that you wanted to watch. That was it. That's all the channels you had. And then at a certain time at night, the channels would just stop. They would just say, okay, that's it. I think they would play like the national anthem, and then they would go to a screen that said that there's nothing on. And yeah, it's weird. Watching TV at the ranch was funny too, because we had a big old satellite dish out in one of the fields. You had to go out there and crank it and to like turn this thing to get the broadcast from somewhere. And yet one person had to be in the house and yell out to the guy, say, no, go back the other way a little bit, crank it more. And of course it's like rickety, and yeah, a lot of really old stuff here, man. Like my toys growing up. Let's see if I have any nearby. A lot of the toys I grew up with were antiques already whenever I was playing with them. And so, yeah, they're just normal stuff. And then when I grow up, it's like, golly, that's really old stuff, my goodness. Is there anything in your 21 years in the Navy taught you that you're grateful for? My biggest lesson in the military, growing up, from coming up in the military to when I left, things changed a lot. Like a lot. Some of them for the better, some of them for the worst. And this doesn't answer the question directly, but I don't feel satisfied that I left the military better than the way I found it. I mean, I thought I did. But there was a mentality that stayed the same throughout. And it was this, and I hope everyone is listening to me, whether you're in the military or not. People seem to be more afraid of making a mistake than they are putting forth their effort to do their best. Oftentimes they're more afraid of the consequences of doing the wrong thing than they are being focused on doing the right thing. Because oftentimes military policy, and this happens in companies as well, if you make the rule easy to follow, then you're in good shape. But what people would end up trying to do is, instead of making the right thing to do easy, they would make the wrong thing painful. People won't care about what's painful. They'll think about it, and if it's really painful, they just won't tell you. They'll focus so much on trying to hide the fact that they broke the rule, but they're going to do it the easier way anyway. So if you have any way to make the right thing easy and better and more enjoyable for them, then that'll work, right? But what am I grateful for, man? I'm grateful for the people, and I feel like this is such a basic answer. Every veteran will tell you the same thing, pretty much. I'm grateful most for the people that I met in the military. Like, my life changed a lot in 21 years. Like, a lot. And the people in the military I spent a lot of time with, more than my family at home. And it gave you time to, you're sort of forced to spend time with each other, but that's all you got is each other. And because you both know that, you depend on each other. Man, things you can learn about yourself and each other by depending on them, by them depending on you. Help me learn about myself. She continues, she says, do you have any regrets? Yes. Things you would have done differently in your life. Without getting into the nitty-gritty details, I think that living life with no regrets is pretty darn close to claiming that you're perfect. Boy, I wish I could go back and change some of my decisions. Man, that would be great. Realizing that you can't. I think that's what people might mean when they're like, live life with no regrets. You know, don't try to. It means be grateful for what you have, what you've done, what you've learned, and all that stuff. And I get that. But yeah, what would I have done differently in my life? Knowing that I would not have the life that I have now. If changing any of that means I wouldn't have this, I don't think I would. even all the pain that I went through, but the people I hurt, I would change that. I regret decisions that I made that hurt other people, or hesitations, that opportunity, not speaking out against an injustice or standing up for someone when you could have. Man, those ones I think I regret the most. People have said the ones you tend to regret things that you don't do more than you regret like doing things. And I believe that is probably pretty true. So yeah, tell us about your cat. I remember seeing a photo. Okay, my cat is named Vlou, V-L-O-U-U-E. She's named after a DJ on Twitch. I named her that because when I came home to Texas after being 21 years in the military, came home to take care of my dad, who was older in age and had some like health in uncertainties, right? So I wanted to help him with some stuff and spend time with him, because I, in essence, was gone from here for 21 years, but would come back periodically to visit here and there, but not a lot. He had a cat, 2 cats. One of them has since decided to live at someone else's house, and we don't want to stop them, whatever. But this other cat is one that he picked up from, I'm not sure if he got it from a rescue or from someone that, anyway, she was a kitten. He named her Blue. And I told him when I got here, I was like, all right, you just now got this kitten, and here's the deal. I don't want to take care of any animals. Like, I'm done with that. I'm going to be taking care of you and living my life here. Like, having cats is not something I signed up for. And let me tell you something. Right now is the best time to rehome her. She is the most adoptable whenever she's a little cute little kitten. Nobody wants to adopt a freaking cat with a bunch of bad habits and a freaking, no, a kitten. Yeah, she's fresh, and, you know, maybe we'll find her a place. He expressed to me that he had gotten these cats for some companionship. My mother passed away a few years ago, and it's been extremely difficult for him ever since. It was a sudden loss, unexpected, and boy, he never recovered from it. But having these cats was good companionship for him. I, over a short amount of time, came to realize how essential these cats were to his life, and I fell in love with this little kitten cat named Blue. So I said, all right, let's keep her, but we'll name her Vlou, named after the DJ. And he said, yeah, that sounds great. Man, she was one of my dad's closest companions in his final days on this earth. Didn't judge him, didn't try to interrupt him, didn't have any requirements. Just always there for him. And the other cat, Bubba, just couldn't deal. I don't know, man. So they're both kind of indoor-outdoor cats. It wasn't my choice to be. I've always been of the belief that you should always keep your cats indoors, but since that's how she has always lived, I put a little bell collar on her to help prevent her from thinning the bird population here. But anyway, I digress. Every time she loses a collar, because she'll get out of it, I'll put a new one. I have a whole pack of these things. I'll put a new one on her. And I love her so much. Do you have any hobbies apart from making ASMR videos? I do speed solving, Rubik's Cubes. Hiking, I don't really do that so much anymore. I've lately been into antique music, like antique records, like really old. So it started when I bought a Victrola. Not really a Victrola. It's kind of like that. It's one of those Edison style talking machines with the platters, the plates, not the EP records that, or the EP, not the 33 or the 45s. These were 78 RPM records, and they're made of a thicker material called shellac. And they're like really hard, man. And so this played those, but you couldn't play anything newer than like 1945 or so, when everyone switched over to vinyl records. The EPs and the LPs took over after that, but these old records, so I collect those and play them, and yeah, I think one day I'm gonna have make a video where I play some of that in the background. I don't know. What do you think? Should I make a video where I play some old record music in like another room and I record that? I think I'd like to do it. Yeah. Speed solving Rubik's Cubes, for anyone who's wondering. Like these. Matter of fact, is this? Oh, get that off of there. Let me do a solve. I have to do so carefully because I don't want to make it be too loud. I'm not that fast anymore, but you know, it's fun. Trying to be quiet when I do it, so that I don't make too loud of a clacky sound. Here, like that. I use the CFOP method, CFOP, which is the cross, and then the first two layers, orient, last layer, and permute. Last layer. What did I just? Did the wrong one. Anyway, that's how you solve it. Next one from TBD. Do you know that you're at the top of your game in a league of your own? Thank you. That means a lot. Productivity values, incredible, godly, I truly appreciate you for making all that. That means a lot. I appreciate you. Would you consider longer videos, all-nighters, just talking like this one? Yeah, I'm kind of doing it right now. And actually, I do this 3-4 nights a week on Twitch, and I stream for 4 hours. During that time, I'll talk to you guys in the chat. I'll record videos like I'm doing right now. I'm actually recording this during one of my live broadcasts. So, yeah. Let's see. let's take a look here. So yeah, I do that here. I record my videos here. I kind of stick right at 25 minutes for most videos, because I think that's right about the right, not too long, not too brief, just right. And there's an option to, depending on your settings and how you're watching it and stuff, could be able to loop it or listen to a playlist of mine. I have playlists. This video is going to go on one of those playlists where I'm rambling. You just run that playlist and it runs through all of them. So yeah, thanks for your question, Vikings. What's your relationship status? Says Lincoln. And who is that lucky person? Her name is Floral Ember. Nat, I love the heck out of her. I met her at TwitchCon, not this past year, but the year before. And I wasn't expecting any kind of relationship. Things were always complicated, up in the air, and things have been weird here, but she has stuck with me through it, supported me, appreciated me like I've never had. Probably the closest one in my life that I've ever experienced anyone appreciate me as much as she has is my mother. And I'm not just doing one of those cliche things. That's just how it is. So yeah, I love her very much. Thank you for asking the question. And you'll see a lot of other people ask that question. I didn't include each one, but let's take a look here. More questions. This is a great question. This is from Janatul Ferdous. She says, what age do you have to start career in ASMR community? It's fascinating to you. How do you do good in this platform? Basically, you do jobs only for ASMR? That's a great question. So my primary job, I'm a full-time ASMR content creator. In fact, I've been a full-time creator even since before how do I have to update something real quick, hang on. There it is. I have to make sure that this doesn't expire before then. This has actually run a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I think I like how we're doing this. How did I start? What age? Okay, so I started ASMR when I was, I started in 22. I was still in the military, but I found myself spending at least 40 hours every week doing something for content creation or voiceover. So I'm a voice actor, voiceover artist, whatever. Haven't done a lot of voiceover jobs recently, but I think ASMR content creation has taken over as my primary thing. That's kind of how I got into it, was voiceover. But this is my calling. I get to do what I want to do. And yeah, I take recommendations from you guys, and I sort of do my best and all that. But truly, I can be as creative as I want to be. I have my own vision. Whereas in voiceover, you are creating, you are working within the bounds of someone else's vision. making someone else's creative idea come to life. And I love doing that. But man, I have my own ideas and I really want to do that. But it all started with me doing a voiceover job. Someone said, man, it was a voiceover job for affirmations or something. And they said, it sounds really good. You should do ASMR. I said, sure, why not? I looked into it. I started watching Twitch, and ASMR content creators on Twitch believed in me. And, oh man, and then people in my in-person life believed in me. And I was like, boy, maybe I really can do this. So yeah. For other people starting a career in voiceover or in ASMR or content creation, there is no, you can't be too old for that. If you're old enough to have a quick mind, if you're old enough to be creative, you can do it. That's my reply. I started on Twitch, but I've really been focusing on YouTube. I do different content. I don't do live streams on YouTube as of right now. I may in the future. I've done some on TikTok. I make short form content for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Lemon 8. I have some on Pinterest actually. Just at Blue Sky, but mostly it's Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok for my short form content. Long form content is Spotify. Yeah, Spotify podcasts. That's where I put my first ASMR content, with Spotify podcasts. And of course Twitch, and of course YouTube. So yeah, any age, all kinds. Yep. In what state do you live? I live in Texas. Yep. I was raised here. I left here to go to the military for 21 years, and I returned almost as if I was picking up where I left off, and that's pretty fun. I want to put a message in the Twitch chat that says that I'm recording a video. There it is. Because right now Twitch chat is still going here. I don't want folks to realize that I'm not looking at responding to chat so much right now. Yeah, man. Lone Star State. Tin Gisel says, I love how you interact with the chat. It's so full of warmth and kindness and feels safe and calming. Thank you. I appreciate that. Man, I've come a long way. I pay attention to the Twitch chat more, and actually that's one of the reasons why I don't want to stream, like dual stream. I know people, they'll stream on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I fear that I wouldn't give you guys the same, attention that you deserve, I don't want my attention to be pulled a few different ways. And when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. And that's it. When you're talking to me, I'm listening to you. Nothing else. That's how it goes. That's how it is in person for me too. And with Twitch, it's very difficult because there's a lot of people talking to me. So, yeah, thank you for appreciating me. Marky says a question, what inspired you to do ASMR in the first place? Much love, thank you. So, I answered this a little bit earlier, but to expand on it, voiceover. They said I had a relaxing voice, so I started at least looking into Twitch. People believed in me on Twitch. From there, I put some episodes on Spotify. But it didn't have video, it was just audio, and I put like the image of something. But when people on Twitch believed in me, other creators and chatters believed in me, it's like, man, dude, maybe I can. So I did it. For anyone on Twitch, good night. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your patience with me. Or good morning if you're in Australia or whatever. I don't know how it works. Time zones, you know how it goes. So yeah, after that, but then once I really got going on it, I said, dude, there was this weird feeling of like shame as far as ASMR is concerned. This weird like stigma surrounding ASMR as being something shameful or something like weird in a bad way, and I said, dude, I am making it my new mission in life to destroy that useless shame. You shouldn't have shame for just enjoying relaxation content. You shouldn't have shame for something about you that you can't control. You should only have shame, I think, for actions that you do that break someone else's trust, things that you do against someone else. That's it. And so I said, man, I need to get to work. And it has been very enjoyable. And just being able to experiment, you know, I do like the experimental stuff, making sounds, seeing how it sounds. This is a sneak peek into a video I'm going to make here in a little bit. But yeah, man, that's where it is. So thank you for that question. J-Fu asks where I'm from Texas. Mithril on the Moon says, I've been watching ASMR since 17 and user deserve to be up there with the grades. Much success. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And there was a reply to that, but it was in regards to this. It wasn't a question. Thank you for being so open and sharing the experience. I thought it was interesting to learn more about you. If you do another Q&A, I would love to know more about what inspired you to start making ASMR. Also, is there a particular reason why you started to call your followers dreamers? I really love that name. Thank you very much. I love it too. So, apart from ASMR, like experimental stuff and like trippy visuals and, you know, weird like reverb and stuff, I do dream analysis. Let me read from my first bullet journal. Wait, actually, I didn't start recording my dreams in that one. It's in one of these. Anyway, I do a lot of studying on dreams, to include, but not limited to, Freud, Carl Jung, other reference books. Here's my Jung book. I love learning about dreams. I love sharing what I've learned, and I love discussing them. Dreams that you dream at night. I think it's mostly a psychology sort of based like reason, you know. Although there are things that can't really be explained with traditional science and things that we can measure with the instruments that we have now. That's where the spiritual realm of dream analysis goes. That's usually where my limitation stops. I do have some experience with those kinds of dreams or waking dreams, like visions that, but for the most part, I stick with the psychological explanations. It's fascinating, and I find it so helpful to discuss dreams with other dreamers to help discern what it was about. It helps us understand more about ourselves, each other, helps us understand about sleep, helps us understand our feelings too, man. You know, I grew up in a time, I was born in 84, and my generation of people were still sort of being fed this line of bull that was like, oh man, you should suppress your feelings, especially if you're a man or a boy. You're not supposed to have feelings and things, so you should push it way down. Yeah, man, that's a bunch of bull. I think you should embrace the feelings, everything, good, bad, painful, joyful. Embrace it, learn from it, you know, allow yourself to perform the act of you. This includes having feelings, this includes dreaming, this includes discussing with people. Anyway, I refer to those who dream as dreamers, and I felt it was well suited to refer to the followers as dreamers. And I include myself in that. I'm not like some people have called me the dream weaver, and we were the dreamer. No, not me. Me too, man. You know, it's all a group discussion. There's also another content creator called Wake the Dreamer. Wake the Dreamer. And I actually asked them, I said, hey, look, man, I want to refer to the people in my community as the dreamers, but that's your name, and you kind of had it first. I look up to the guy a lot, and he's like, bro, what are you talking about? It's such a simple word, of course, and you don't need my permission to use it. Just whatever feels natural, and just do it. And so that was good. Wake, W-A-K-E, the Dreamer. So yeah, one of the first, if not my first, piece of ASMR content that I made was me reading from my dream journal. I for a period of about 2 years, I wrote down every single dream that I dreamt. Every time I woke up, I would write it down. Sometimes you couldn't read the writing because you're still part of asleep, and I got really good at figuring out what, like, if I dreamt something, what that meant about me, what it meant about what was going on in my life, that kind of thing. And I followed it up with my studies in dreams as well. So that was very much the beginning of my channel. Alright, let's see if there's any more questions. Here's one. How do you control the echo and reverb? Alright, I made a video about it, but I'm going to show you guys as well. Alright, so let's minimize this. I'm going to turn on one of my other cameras. Let me see. This is doing it. Alright, close enough. There's this little keypad here. There's a couple of buttons that I use that'll turn off the reverb, or it'll adjust it. I have actually, is there? Okay, there's also a part of my interface. I use Valhalla Supermassive, and I love sharing this. It's really neat. I use Valhalla Supermassive. It's a free plugin for OBS. Can we even, is this real life? Okay. And this little indicator right here, that's how much the reverb is applied. Let me see if I can move this up just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Right now it's at about 3.5%. Let's put it back so I can operate the controls. Now, if I have foot pedals that I use, but I also have this button right here, and then there's some other ones on my keyboard, depending on where my hands are and how I'm sitting and how far I am away from stuff. This is a wireless little keyboard that I programmed. If I push this button, it moves the mouse. Let me move this down to kind of where I have to position the interface in the, I have to position the interface so that the mouse pointer can move across the screen and click the clear button, right? And by doing that and like having the timing down and everything, I can sort of stop the reverb. Now, what if I want to turn up this control? I have this knob here. It moves the pointer over there. You can kind of see the bottom of the pointer down there. Here's the, right? It puts it on this, and then I use this one to move it up or down. And then on my mixer I have another one. It's like a local thing. Turn the knob up and down. So when you see me snap my fingers, it's because I've pushed one of these buttons. Or I'll like and I'll do that so that it like turns it down without making a lot of noise. And then I have different reverb settings on this interface. Like there's this one. But I think my favorite one is pretty much. Boy, where was I? Anyway, so that's how I do the reverb. And for the visuals, nobody asked, but I'll show you anyway. It's a different plugin called Recursion, and I have foot pedals for that too. I also have buttons on my keyboard that'll switch the view, like mirrored, right? Or change to a different screen, or even here on Twitch I have a screen that shows a little world moving around, and people can choose to share where they are checking in from. I can, and I can control the globe angle, and that's a program written by Triode. It's a creator and DJ on Twitch. Anyway, let's get back to this one and have a little bit of reverb, not too much, while we do this. But yeah, that's that one. Alright, what else? Can you make make a video somewhere with just one with the effects that use like echo and the same as the water drop. Yeah. The water drop. So this one it's a specific version of it. So it's like I clear the reverb. I just figured out which sounds work best with which reverb settings. A lot of people ask, and Amy Rose asked, same thing, like, feel prompted to make ASMR videos. Talked about that a little bit. Anybody told you look like Paul Gasol? I don't remember who that is. And I think this was probably the only time that I got it. Usually it's being compared to King Leonidas or Breaking Bad, especially if I put on certain glasses and my hat's too far away. These are my Heisenberg glasses. Of course, they don't have any lenses, but I've been told I look like Edward Norton in The Illusionist. There's a cricket player that I get told I look like frequently. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I love it. Oh, and what's that video game character? Anyone on Twitch, do you remember that video game character that they always say? Vincent from A Way Out. Funny. I'm not over 50, I'm 42. I don't know if you've trained for this, but I don't mess with your mind. I'm former Navy. My goal is to be the most authentic version of myself, no matter what, and to encourage others to do the same, and to help others sort of be the best that they can be, right? The best version of itself. And I feel like that's such a cliche answer, but man, it really is, man. I don't have any like really special and like unique talents. I mean, I have a few, like I can make certain sounds with my vocal instrument that others can't, but other than that, the only thing I'm really, really good at is just being me. No one else can be me, and likewise, no one can be you. So be you, and you don't have to force it to be you. Just allow yourself to be yourself. So, yeah. Thank you, Retro Rex. This is from Liddy. I have a question. Do you do another video with YouTube? If you, okay, but then you don't. I was wondering if you listen to ASMR yourself, and if so, what are your favorite sounds, triggers, crinkly sounds, and glass tapping, water, etc.? That's an excellent question. Alright. So, I intentionally don't listen to or watch a lot of ASMR on YouTube, sadly, because I don't want to inadvertently take anyone else's idea, right? So I'm real big, if you haven't picked up on this, I'm really big on authenticity. Like, all of the triggers that I do, they're mine. I mean, I thought of them, right? Sure, I have inspiration from a bunch of others, but when I have an idea and I make a thing, it's because I thought of it independently from others. And I don't want to change that. Now, so it's sort of selfish and sort of not, I don't know how to explain it, but the point is I don't do a lot of it on YouTube. A lot for that reason. But also, I don't know, I feel like I don't have a lot of time. But man, the triggers I love to hear are crinkle, specifically muffled crinkle. Where's my... I make them... Well, I didn't make this one, but it's the closest one. This is my little dreamer, you see? It's a little baby toy or whatever. So good, especially with like no reverb at all, just cut it off. I also am a really big fan of anticipation triggers. Anticipation, like start, stop. I do a lot of this with my like hypnosis, but it's like things that'll change. They'll stop, they'll pick up. Here's one of my favorites. Like a crunching. I don't have the proper stuff set up to do it like I used to, but when there's a movement, a sound of a movement that is like kind of intense, but then also like waits and then picks up where it's left off. It's so good. You know, so I also like close whispers, especially when it's like coming in for like soft spoken, that kind of thing. And then right at the end when they're fixing to make a point that they really want to emphasize, they come in close to let you know, just like that. Anyway, just like that. I can't help myself. Anyway, but on Twitch, that's where I consume most of my ASMR content. Yeah, I really like the interactiveness of Twitch. Vincent, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Highly underrated. Thank you. Chico, ASMR's unique, best way possible. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Are we at the end? That's it. These are my questions. I took screenshots of all these, so I knew what was what. But yeah, got a lot of questions about how do you, like, where did it all start? And I find that fascinating too. I'd like to ask other ASMR artists a similar thing, like, where did it all start? And I know that my story is weird. Military. Loud. Military is loud, man. In fact, one of the reasons why I got into voiceover in the first place was because boy, this is a weird connection to make. People have asked, what kind of music do you listen to? I listen to really aggressive deathcore music, or hardcore, or some metalcore and that kind of stuff, or electronic dance music. Those are or like 1920s, 30s records on a Victrola. But I said to myself, dude, how do they make those harsh vocals that they do? Like you hear with the but like super loud, and they scream. Like, how do they do that? So I looked it up. I learned. I taught myself. And then I said, dude, wouldn't it be cool if I could do this for people? How do you do this for people? Learn about voiceover. And that's where the voiceover journey picked up. I said, maybe I can do monster voices and kind of whatever. But yeah, man, deathcore music. Or hardcore and beatdown and stuff like that. After a Burial is a good band. Slaughter to Prevail is another one. I freaking love it, man. Metalcore such as what's the one? Thinking of a band. I don't want to say the name wrong. Is it? My brain isn't working too good right now. But yeah, man, I learned that stuff. Got into voiceover, and then I did really cozy, soothing affirmations and stuff. The thing I liked about deathcore and a lot of metalcore and stuff is it really expressed feelings and emotions, really deep stuff, man. You listen to those lyrics, you listen to the way the song is made, they hit you in the feels, bro, you know? Anyway, so yeah, the dreams, man. After voiceover, it was affirmations and reading dreams. I wanted to read something because I don't want to violate copyright law. So if I read books, they are books that are at least 100 years old, so that they're in the public domain. Like this one, these are old books that, man, the old books smell, you know. But another thing that you can read is stuff that you've written. So I read my dreams, you know. That goes in there. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I did it. And boy, it looks like we've been doing this for an hour or more. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your patience. And if you have any other questions, or if you have a similar story, or if this made you think about something like that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you.